Okay, so this video I wanted to talk about how my experience yesterday, and this was actually an important part of my day yesterday. I got this book on this autobiography biography on Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci. It was a $20 book, and I'm pretty excited to read it, man. Because I always dipped and dabbled in learning about the guy, but I never took just a full dive. So I hope this is going to be a good book. By the pictures that I'll come across, like it shows a lot of his drawings and shit like that. So I'm hoping it's going to be a good book to learn a lot from. But so anyway, to the topic of this video. Now, this is how crazy Europe can be, man. In my experience of living in bigger cities in Europe, like you literally can just go out with the intention of just buying some more juice, and it ended up, on the whole other side of town doing something completely different, and all you wanted to go out and do was just go buy like one thing, right? So yesterday I went to the store, man. I went to go buy some shit. I'm just a quick rundown. I went to go buy some shit with my Apple Pay, and when I kept scanning it, it kept showing up. I don't know if you use Apple Pay or not, but when you buy something with Apple Pay, it's going to give you an alert that says like, look, something was purchased for $13 at such and such a place. So I keep scanning it, and I'm showing the guy is showing that on my phone it's working, but on his terminal it kept saying decline. It's like, no, it's not decline. It's showing up right. Like I'm getting an alert that's saying it's being spent. So somewhere something got confused. I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm not saying it's my fault. Something got confused. So long story short, man, I end up going deeper into town and end up getting fucked up at a friend of mine's. I call him a friend now. A friend of mine's shop. He sells telescopes because I got in a I never did show you guys a telescope. It's in my bedroom, man. But my microscope always sits right here. But so yeah, I end up going in there every time I go in there, man. That's why I don't like going there sometimes, because every time I go in there, he always brings out a drink, and I at first it always seems to start with me, and then because okay, in the real world, I think I'm much more sociable. I think by the time you see me on here, I'm just ranting about something. But I'm much more sociable in the world, so it always starts with me. When I come in there, he brings out a little shot glass and pours me something and starts drinking, and then somebody else comes in and then he pours them a glass. So it always ends up with like 10 motherfuckers randomly standing in this shop, just standing around drinking, talking. Half of us can't even communicate fluently because our languages are different, and that's how we do, right? So anyway, this time, okay, there's always at least one girl that comes in. This time there was a girl. She was 30. She come to find out, I started talking to her. She could speak good English. She's like definitely conversation level English. She had her PhD in, I think she said microbiology. She's a scientist too, so we can talk a lot about that. And but we got to talk even more. She told me she was 35. We got in the topic of how I don't know how we got in the topic, because like I said, we were drinking. We got in the topic how Czech men don't like her. And she said, I mean, it's the same problem that women usually face when they become well educated. It destroys them as women. So pretty much, it's the same story everywhere you go. If a woman is in power in any kind of way, or she's more intelligent than the average person, and most guys, like she's pretty much ruined woman material for guys, because that part of her brain's been unlocked to demand stuff now on a different level, and it's just an overall turnoff. It's sad to say, man, but education pretty much ruins women as being desirable. It really does. Like post high school, higher education, it really does. It ruins their potential. I'm willing to say this, that it's automatically known that there's a lot of 30 women who they've hit the wall and they're older, and especially if they're uneducated. There's a huge population of women like this, right? Who maybe 30, 35. They don't have any education. They pretty much only got by on being cute and fucking, and end up 30, 35 and working in call centers and stuff like that, right? But I'd say there's probably even nowadays, there's even probably more of a population of women who are like this girl who I spoke with last night, who are, well-educated, gainfully employed, and cannot keep a man. They can't do it. They can't. These women cannot keep men. I'd be honest with you. Excluding the brothels, most of the women who I meet are I'd say probably it's probably about 70-30. 70% of the women are, gainfully employed, well-educated, blah blah blah. I mean, partially just given where I am. I mean, I'm living in Prague, so by the time they can speak English to me, those are the only ones a lot of times who can speak English to me, because it's just how it works. But more times than not, it's the ones who are gainfully employed and very successful that kills their desirability, is being that. And then on top of that, like what made me end up not continuing the conversation with the girl who I met last night was because it all just kind of hit me, like within a good 3 total minutes. Like the whole reality hit me. And I spoke to her for a while and got to know her a bit, got to get and picking out which is true and she's probably fabricating and blah blah. So I got to get a fair perspective on her. And within about 3 minutes, it all hit me like she's just not worth it. And it goes back to the video. I think the last video I did, like once they get, there's no good reason why a woman is single over 25. There is no, even in the best case scenario, she was a perfect saint and somebody screwed her over and whatever, what have you. Okay, now you're left with this damaged good. You see, there is no, or the husband died. Well, what the reality is, you're being left with this damaged good. There is no way a man who is fully aware of a situation with a woman can walk into a relationship with a woman over 25 and be like, yeah, this is a benefit. It just it just doesn't happen, because if she's got money, well, she's crazy, and if she's not crazy, then it's something else. Higher mileage does not equal better quality woman. Now, higher mileage in men equals higher quality, in men, because like I said in the last video, that higher mileage, well, we've been out there, we've been exploring, we've been trying new things, we've been doing this, doing that. So now we can take snippets of what we learned from all that high mileage, from driving everywhere and learning shit. We could take all the snippets that worked, some that didn't work, some that kind of work you may want to play with, and then bring it back to the woman, and all it does is fuel our value for being knowledgeable in the world. You see, the wisdom. That's where it works for us. Where, see, women don't do the same thing. When they go out there and get higher mileage, they just slowly get more destroyed, get more vengeful, get more bitter, or they're just old. And then they come back with pretty much all the negatives of it. Like we'll come back with all the, we could come back with a lot of positives out of it. Like, what to do, what not to do, what we learn, but women, they come back, and it's just it's usually pretty much all negative. They can't come, like, because she can't come back and be like, yeah, I know how to deep throat 12-inch cocks in glory holes in front of a camera. And that's not worth anything. You see what I'm saying? It makes her look worse. Whereas a guy can go out there and he can learn how to play with the clip the right way and blah, blah, blah. And she just, is in love with it. There's no questions asked. You see what I'm saying? That makes him valuable. If a woman knows how to suck dick extremely fucking well, and she's 35 and single, all that's going to bring to a guy's mind is, okay, if you suck a dick this good, why is no man trying to keep you around? Or why aren't you trying to stay with a man? You see what I'm saying? Like, how many men how many times have you been pumped and dumped while you were sucking dick this good? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no positive for a woman to be single over 25. There is no positive. Okay. Like, well, I want to say, okay, I say overall, there is not an overall positive for a woman to be single at these ages. There could be little positives, but then it's like, as soon as you find a positive, you'll be able to flip it back around and say, that's kind of fucked up for real. like you can't, there is no like overall, like, this is a good fucking reason why. You see what I'm saying? Like, because you're old, no matter what it is, once she's over 25, no matter what she's good at, you're always going to be able to go, but yeah, you had to do this to get there. It's always going to be fucked up. It's always. So, like I said, when I was hanging out, it all hit me within like I say a total of 3 minutes. I was just thinking. I just got real quiet and just started thinking. Like, okay, she's 35. How many times has she been, mounted by some sweaty, nasty fucking dude? How many times did how many dicks has she sucked? How much sperm has been in her mouth? How it all hit me. You like I would just look kind of look at her, just imagine the other dudes doing it to her. I'm like, ugh. Like, this is why I say women over 30, they're great fucks. They can be great fucks. But like for me, like once I start talking to a woman and we're not fucking, relatively quickly, we're talking about fucking relatively quickly, this is just how I'm wired. I immediately start to wire them in as like closer, maybe like girlfriend material or something. I don't know. But it's just like the more I talk, the more it drifts in the friend zone. And that's just how I'm wired. Like the more I talk and communicate with them, and it's like genuinely about real shit, they start to drift in the friend zone. Where like, okay, like I don't say I'll get jealous or anything like that, but I just take things a little more personal, if that makes sense. Like I'm not the jealous type. I'll say that with 1,000% confidence. I've never been truly jealous in a relationship. There may have been, I'm thinking of one time specifically, there was like a quick hint of jealousy, but it immediately, went away. I'm not the type of dude who who will text a girl, what you said? No, I've never been that guy. Never, even in my worst relationships, I've never been the jealous type, the stalker type, none of that. But once I start talking to a girl, I immediately once I start talking, like genuinely speaking with a girl about things I'm genuinely interested in, I start to take things a lot more personal. So that girl can't be just my personal fuck toy anymore. You see, like that's just how I am. I go to brothels all day long and fuck all the bitches, and then literally pack my bags and walk out 2 seconds later, and it's no big deal at all. But that's just how I'm wired, man. Like I said, when I it all just started hitting me, the reality of this girl's situation. She's 35. She's been pumped and dumped God knows how many times. How many guys try to get in a relationship with her and they couldn't last. So that tells you right there, she's not genuinely likable in a relationship. She didn't have any kids, which was a plus, but it's also kind of a negative on top of that, because it's like, well, why not? You see, like there's just every time there's a benefit for a woman being single over 25, you can immediately flip. Like there's no overall positive reason, because it's always like, well, you probably were fucked up. You probably were fucked up. That's why nobody did, married you, whatever. Like you're unmarried at 35. No matter what the positive is, you can always flip it back and look at and see that, okay, well, yeah, she was probably fucked up. That's why, type of thing. Whereas like I said, on the flip side, with men and mileage, it's the opposite. See, because like I said, men can take the tidbits of the mileage that they gain and then bring it back to the next woman as wisdom. You see, whereas like a woman does that, it's just okay. You've been used up by all these men. Why should I take you serious? You see what I'm saying? Like it flips. It's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. But you asked me the video for today, man. I actually went to the city to look for a new microphone, look for a legitimate microphone, and Czech Republic is weird with this shit, man. Like, if you want something relatively kind of special or something like that, a lot of times, like you got to wait a day and shit. Like you got to wait. Like it's not like in America, you can just go on Amazon and or I think even Germany, you can do it. You can just go on Amazon, find what you want, click, buy it, and it's just that flat cost, and it'll be there like in a day. Here, man, like if you go on Amazon here, first off, they may not even deliver to Czech Republic. Okay. The second, if they do deliver, you got to pay shipping costs, which is going to pretty much double the fucking cost of the goddamn thing. So it's not even worth it. I was going to buy a pair of shorts off Amazon for like $15. By the time it was over, them shorts was gonna be about $35 with the fees off Amazon. Like, get the fuck. I remember in America, you would get Amazon Prime and you had that shit there in 24 hours. Well, yeah, man. So yeah, I was gonna buy a microphone yesterday, couldn't buy one because I say this, man. Like it's just everywhere you go, it's like this. Some people are just fucking idiots. Like they're just really They're just really morons and idiots. And I'm not saying like this is everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's the same shit. Not Czech people, not just German people. Everywhere you go. So I had to deal with that. So yeah. So obviously I don't have a new microphone. But yeah, man, that's gonna be a video. Oh yeah. So long story short, with the girl, I just left because all the reality hit me with the girl, the 35-year-old girl. I just bounced because all the reality hit me, and I just started thinking like, look, this just isn't even worth it. Which is fucked up to say. Because like I said, man, women, I'm willing to say there's probably a higher population of women who are in this position who are, on paper successful at 30 and 35 and up. But that on paper success destroys their desirability as women, because at the same time, see, like I'll dive into this. My reasoning for this is it confuses their role. It confused the woman's role was now officially lost and completely confused, right? Like they don't know if they should be submissive one minute, they should be dominant the next, they should be demanding, they should be asking, and then everything ends up being a complete act. Everything ends up being synthetic in their personality. It ends up being just this fake created personality in them because their role has now been so polluted and confused that they know men like, every woman knows men like submissive women, but now I have to pretend to be submissive because I don't really need him, but I want a man because my friends have men, and now I have to fit him. Like it's this entire script that goes off in their head, and it destroys them. It destroys their desirability. And like I said, I'm willing to bet there's probably more population of women who are, like higher, managerial positions, shit like that, and they cannot keep a man around to save their life because I said this in the videos a while back, because the next reality of this is, let's say you have a female who was like a marketing manager. Let's just use marketing manager as an example. And she's making, let's say she makes $60,000 a year in relation to whatever country she's in. That means she's definitely not poor, but she's not rich. She's comfortable. She doesn't have to check her bank account when she puts gas in her car. She doesn't have to check her bank account when she buys groceries. She's comfortable. If she's, halfway intelligent, she won't have to. But these women are more specifically doomed because for the fact that she makes, let's say, relatively $60,000 US, she's comfortable in life, right? She is now, her dating pool has now shrunk to men who make at least $60,000 or more. See, so all these other men beneath her, no. I'm over here now. But see, what women's brains don't understand, because every woman lives in their own brain, is this. Just like she now wants a man who makes at least 60,000. Okay, in reality, she wants a man that makes at least 90,000. In reality, that's what's going to make her happy. Okay. That man now has the choices of all the women who make anywhere up to 90,000. You see what I'm saying? He has that whole entire pool to pick from. So he's not really. So that's like me dealing with that girl at the place last night. Like, I don't have to sit up and hunt you down and woo you and all that. Like, I'll just rather just go home and just and just wait till tomorrow. It's probably be something when I go to the store tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to sit up but see, like, and this is where women get stuck, and it just goes up the ladder. If she's making $1 million, she wants a guy that makes $1.5 million. But that guy who makes $1.5 million has his choice of all the women who make underneath $1.5 million. You see what I'm saying? But see, women, they don't see that. Like, they don't. Or maybe some of them may even see it, but their hypergamy can't let them, it can't let them truly be happy with a man on their same level or beneath them. Their hypergamy, it won't let them. It won't allow them to do this. So they end up stuck. And the reality of it is now, every now and then, one woman who makes 50,000, she'll marry a guy who makes 75, 90,000 a year. Every now and then, one or two get lucky and it works out. But for the most part, it doesn't work out. For the most part, most of those women end up just getting pumped and dumped. They end up being a side chick, knowing they're a side chick to the guy's actual wife, and they're just happy to get that position in life. Like, and they just end up fucked up. They end up like that population of woman is just doomed to fail. And this is what feminism taught these women to go out there and become. Because like I said in the last video, like there has never been a time in history where women have collectively got together and helped out the women who are coming up behind them. Women don't do that. You see what I'm saying? Look at anywhere in history where the collective, look at anywhere in history where a collective group of women, ugly, fat, hot, short, tall, rich, poor, these groups of women got together and said, we should help a woman. How many times has that ever happened? It never has happened. That's why. Men will get together and they'll start holding seminars and shit like that to help other men that came up after them. Women don't do that. Women hate other women. You see what I'm saying? And then they close them up. They get stuck. So now she's like trying to chase after, she's always got her eyes open for something bigger and better. And when she's stuck in this merry-go-round is being fucked up. And it's a merry-go-round, it's like they start to get higher up because they're sucking a dude's dick who's making 120 a year and 6 foot tall. But then he goes off and cheats on her, goes off somewhere and gets another bitch pregnant. Then it's and then they go back and then they go to the ego boosting guy who's like beneath her to get her ego back up. She love bomb him and gives him everything, to make up for the alpha, for getting alpha widowed. There's and then she gets a little bit more attention from the rich guy again, and then she just ignore the lesser guy. Yeah, and it's a merry-go-round, and that's what feminists have created, man. That's what they've created, and they love it. That's the funny part about it, is that the feminists love it because women love nothing more than to watch other women get hurt. That's the kicker. And women they too dumb to get it. That's the kicker. It's just and that's where they end up. But ultimately, all women are just going to end up over here. Okay, that's just what it is, because everything that they offer is inevitably fails them. So they're going to end up. And then she's like, "No, put more batteries in. I want to go back over." And it's like, "Nah, bro, it's done. You just merry-go-round, stop." And he's stuck over there anyway, man. Because I'm like hungover. I'm hungover for real. So I'm just gonna stay in the house and read Leonardo da Vinci's biography. Have a good day.